All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. So if you can please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call of board members.
Kester. Here. Aaron's.
Here.
Flipsema.
Here.
Hoeksema present. Milnick.
Here.
All right, set, adjust, and approve the meeting agenda. Does anybody have any adjustments to the agenda?
I'd like to take off number 2 from new business.
Okay, there's a request to take off number 2 from new business. Any other requests? All right, so we need to vote on, I'm not sure, do we need a
Can we
second?
discuss?
Yes, you may discuss.
I will not support that. That's why we're here.
Okay, any other comments? All right, all those in favor of amending the agenda to remove number 2? I believe we actually need a second on that.
Actually need a first as well.
I'm sorry, I thought Wendy made a motion.
Oh, you.
We need a second on the motion to remove item 2. Is there a second? I do not hear a second, so I will make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Aaron, second.
Aaron seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? None opposed. All right, moving on. Declaration of conflict of interest. Does anybody have a conflict of interest with the content of today's meeting?
No.
No. All right, no conflict of interest noted. Now we're to public comment. We are accepting public comment. The time limit is 5 minutes. If you can please state your name at the podium when you come forward. Who would like to make a public comment?
Mike Jacobson from the Skigmog Point Road. Last daytime meeting you guys had, I was not able to stay for the whole meeting. Those meetings don't work for me. It causes me financial distress and distress on the job with me and the crew. So I can't stay for those meetings. But as I understood it, from people I've talked to, what I've heard happened at that meeting was that it was said that we're getting rid of the Zoom because we can't afford it, but yet we could all afford raises for everybody here at this table, and we could afford to hire another hired hand here in this room. I haven't seen the minutes of the meeting, so I don't know exactly what happened, but I think that's backwards. I've talked to many people, even people who aren't in this state right now, but own property in this community, and they are not happy that they cannot communicate through Zoom. This is here so the public can communicate. We have a large percentage of people from our community that do not live here year round. They are entitled to have their say on every issue that goes in front of this board. Why this is happening doesn't make any sense. Secondly, I'd like to point out that the community is very interested in transparency. From what I see on the agenda, the community isn't going to hear what happens here at this meeting today. And I think the community is deserving to know what happens at this meeting today. We want transparency, and we want to know what is happening financially in this community. Thank you for your time and effort.
Thank you.
Point of order.
Excuse me, what's your issue?
I would like to address something that was stated that is false.
Okay, go ahead.
Nobody at this table received a raise in the budget process this year. So that was not accurate what he heard.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for setting that straight.
Would anybody else like to make a public comment at this time?
Kim Mangus, 5101 Brown Bear. I'll keep it short, because I don't know if any of us will be sitting here when you get out of closed session. I understand this is a closed session. We're not going to see most of what happens at this meeting. But aside from the topic of the meeting, which is very concerning, I have a hard time wrapping my head around the thought that you didn't know about this meeting on Thursday. Every one of you knew about this meeting on Thursday. To set this up with an attorney, to have things planned and arranged in advance. If not, you should have set it up for a time when the public could be made aware. 18, unless something's on fire, 18 hours notice just should not be used. That is something that should be used when a massive storm comes through the township and blows down trees and we can't get down roads. When town hall or the fire station catches on fire. It's not something should be used for something like this when it is planned, could have been arranged, and the public could have been made aware. So in case myself or everybody else is not here when you come out of closed session, I would really encourage you to do what Mike said, provide some transparency, put an article in the Elk Rapids News, post it on the website, let folks know what's going on, because chances are, I sincerely hope that the rumors flying around from various locations are worse than the reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Is there anybody else to make a comment?
Randy Steelman, Chris Broad. I just wanted to tell you guys, I wasn't here at the end of the last meeting either, and I'm ill prepared I had notes and some suggestions and things like that, which I don't have today, and I can't remember. I just got done working, so I'm flustered. But I did want to say thank you. There was a few of yous last Thursday or last meeting that you guys kicked a thing down the road that should have been kicked down the road, and I appreciate that from you guys and being transparent about it and saying, hey, we don't want to deal with something like this at a 9 o'clock in the morning meeting. So I really appreciated that from all of you that were for that. And then I was a little disappointed that we got rid of the Zoom and the talk, and I think a lot of the people like that, even if it doesn't seem like they use it. I think a lot of people like that, and we do have like probably 50% of our population is gone for 6 months of the year. So I'm with these guys on that one, but I get it. The lawyer says it, and we'll figure something out somehow. So thank you guys for doing it. Hope you guys do good.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to make a comment? Okay, we will move on the agenda. All right, the next several items say none, so the next thing is new business. So I'm going to make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Section 8H of the Open Meetings Act, being MCL 15.268H, to consider the written letter from our attorney, Stephen Schwartz, dated March 31st, 2026, which is exempt from disclosure under Section 13(1)G of the Michigan Freedom of Information Act, MCL 15.2431G, since this letter is subject to the attorney-client privilege.
I'll second that motion.
So motion made by Slopsima, seconded by Kester. You can have a roll call vote when ready.
Aaron's,
Yes.
Hester, yes. Milnick,
Yes.
Hoaxma, yes. Slopsima.
Yes. All right, so for the public, at this point, we're going to go into a closed session and we will come out after that and possibly make a decision, possibly not make a decision. So you're welcome to stay. We're returning to session. All right, we have met with our attorney and we are working towards a resolution of this issue. At this time, the board will have discussion and motions may be made at this point. So does anybody have an item that they would like to discuss or a motion that they would like to put on the floor? Go ahead,
I do
Tim.
have a motion. I would like to waive the attorney-client privilege as to Attorney Stephen Schwartz, March 18, 26 opinion letter only, and to make that opinion letter a public document.
I'll second.
All right, motion made by Aaron's and seconded by Kester. Is there any discussion? And it would start with you, Tim, since you made the motion.
I have no discussion.
Does anybody else have any discussion regarding this?
I don't think it's wise to disclose an attorney-client privileged letter in the middle of talking to attorneys.
Okay, other comments? Anything? All right, I would say roll call when ready.
Slopsima,
Yes.
Hoaxima, no. Milnick,
Yes.
Kester, yes. Aaron's, yes.
Motion carries. All right, are there any other motions on the floor at this time?
Can I make a motion about, you want to do it, or can I make a motion about the 13th, having a meeting?
Yes, you may make that motion.
I'd like to make a motion that the board authorize a special meeting on April 13 at 6 p.m. regarding this issue.
Okay, I will second that motion. And discussion on that?
Just to clarify, that is giving both attorneys time to work out what we'll be discussing on the 13th.
Correct.
So they'll be recommending what the action is on the 13th.
Moving towards resolution.
I'm not sure if there will be a packet or if it's just an agenda like today. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, so this motion at least allows adequate notice to the public and it places the meeting on the calendar. And
like,
there will be a tentative agenda.
and likely
similar
an
to
action
today.
item attached to that.
Okay.
Likely an action item attached to that issue.
Hopefully.
A decision, yes. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call when ready.
Milnick,
Yes.
Hoaxima, yes. Kester, yes. Slopsima,
Yes.
Aaron's.
Yes.
Are there any other motions that anybody wants to make regarding this? Okay, we have no tabled items tonight. Announcements. Due to this last motion, we have a meeting April 13th. That's a Monday at 6 p.m. That's correct. You made that time of 6 p.m. Just making sure. Okay, and then our next township board meeting is April 23rd, 2026. I believe that's just regular business only, and that's 9 a.m. Any other board member announcements?
Just one question. We have that rezoning application that needs to come before the board for final action that was done is with the recommendation of the planning commission. So did that be on the 13th as well? I hate to see that kick down the road any further.
Okay, so you're proposing that you would like to add the rezoning of the parcel.
Yes, it's the one south of 72 and west of Broomhead.
And this has already been to public hearing, correct? So the neighbors have already been notified. Okay,
Well, it's not, the public hearing was held by the planning commission.
correct, but we have final approval.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is at the public hearing, the neighbors were already notified.
they haven't been notified for a public hearing for the township board. The township board doesn't hold a public hearing necessarily on.
That's what I mean. I believe the public hearing already occurred. The board is, there's a recommendation
Right.
to approve, and then it occurs at a regular meeting of ours. It's not a second public hearing. That's what
Right.
I'm trying to make sure.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do the other board members support that recommendation? Because it'll allow that item to progress, and it's at an evening meeting where the public may be interested in that rezoning.
I do, and I think
Consensus?
we can have another public hearing if you want to, but I don't know how well
Right.
attended the first one would.
You have to notice a public hearing,
Right.
15 days, so that's
So,
not enough time.
I think-
Okay,
I don't think it's controversial.
all right. So I'm adding that clarification. So if you can get me the wording on that, please, or get it to Wendy so we can issue the meeting notice for the 13th.
Okay.
All right, any other board member announcements? All right, we're up to public comment again. Would somebody like to make a public comment?
Mike Jacobs from the Ski Walk Point Road. I too would like to thank the board for kicking the civil infractions ordinance thing down the road. That was the right thing to do in a lot of people's opinion. I think the board did the right thing, and I think a lot of the community thinks the board did the right thing. I'd like to ask, does the board have a date nailed down that they can get the lawyer here? Do we know that yet? And secondly, I'm confused. As I understood what you just said, I think you just said that the next board meeting is the 21st of April. And when I step out the door and look at the calendar on outside the door, it says the 7th of April. I'm confused.
Okay, so let me clarify that for you. Our next board meeting is going to be on the 23rd. I believe that date is correct. Is that correct, Wendy? We decided to cancel our meeting on the 9th due to lack of content.
Okay.
So
but
that's
just the
next week,
calendar
Thursday.
I'd say the 7th.
That might be last year's calendar.
That was just a typo, probably.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
we had planned on having a meeting on the 9th.
But that's.
But
no-
when we looked at what we had lined up, there wasn't much. So we decided to save the cost of the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Randy Steelman again, Chris Road. Hey, when you guys came out of there, I can tell by your faces that whatever you guys are dealing with in here, that it's somber and it's hard. And I just want to thank you guys. Doing hard things is what leaders have to do, and make these tough choices. And, you know, it's hard. I know I run a business and have a family and all that, so I understand. So I just commend you guys and thank you for doing these tough things and, you know, to the best of your ability and doing what's right. I remembered a suggestion from last week, and I don't know if it could work or not, and I don't know how to explain it, other than you guys were having trouble about meetings, and it's so hard to get ready for the next meeting when you just got done with this meeting. And I don't know what to call this, what I was thinking, but if you just stuck to like finances and business with one meeting, you could say, this is a business finance meeting. And when you were done with it, you could kick it to the next month. And then you wouldn't have to think about that till, you know, you'd have 3 weeks to think about that till you got to the next one for the paperwork for that. And then 2 weeks later, you do your other meeting and you have that meeting and you'd kick it down the road for a month, and it would look something like that. If you guys could see it, like they're two separate kind of meetings, and it would simplify, and maybe I'm wrong, you know, I don't know what you guys got to deal with, but I thought it would simplify those requirements to get stuff in the paper, because you guys are always having to say, hey, this happened at that meeting, you know, 2 weeks down the road, we got to tell you what happened to that meeting, where it could buy you time and it'd be half as much to put in there. But just a weird little suggestion, but thank you guys for doing what you do. I know that this job is unthankful and it's tough, so I appreciate it from all of you in that regard.
Would anybody else like to make a public comment tonight?
Kim Angus, Brown Bear Lane. I too want to congratulate you for at least coming out and saying that you want the public to know what's going on and trying to make arrangements to have a meeting when folks can be here. Hopefully we'll be able to get some clarity and like I said, I hope rumors can get a whole lot worse than the truth, and that can be a dangerous thing. But I would also ask, with your meetings, if you're going to cancel one, can we cancel the morning? It makes a lot more sense to maintain, if you're going to have one meeting, maintain your evening meeting. Or move that morning, maybe the one on the 23rd should be in the evening so that people can be involved. It does help with the transparency. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Kim. Would anybody else like to make a comment here tonight? All right, with that, any further board comments or discussion? Seeing none, I'd make a motion to adjourn. Need a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Kester. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None opposed. Thank you.